Today I'm at work and I'm explaining something to a patient of mine, and I think I did a relatively good job at explaining what I meant to say. And the patient looks at me and tells me, "Oh, so you mean that X, Y, and Z?" And I'm like, "Did you hear me say that?" So, just to give you a quick description of what exactly happened, the patient just walks in and wants to see the eye doctor. She was at the office when I wasn't there a few days prior and had an emergency visit. So I didn't know who this person was. So she comes in, and we have about four people waiting to see the doctor at the office in that current moment. Two or three of which were already kind of being in the process of being seen, and then one or two people that were just kind of waiting in line to be seen for the first time. Like, she comes in, she says, "Hey, I want to see the doctor." And I'm like, "Listen, that's fine. Just keep in mind that because you don't have an appointment, there's four people basically ahead of you, and technically there's just one person that's going to go right before you, and then you're going to be called in next, but you'll still have to wait in line for all the other people to completely finish their exam before you actually see the doctor. So your wait time will be about like 15 minutes for you to be just called in, first of all. That's not going to be your full exam period. Like, just for you to be called into the first exam room will be about 15 minutes." And this woman looks at me and says, "So you're saying I need to make an appointment?" I didn't even say like anything that would pertain to her even understanding it. That means, like, I literally just told you that you're going to need to wait a few minutes and then you'll be seen, and you're listening to me and saying that you're hearing me say that you won't be seen and you need to make an appointment in order to be seen. I looked at her and I literally froze in that moment, because I keep seeing this happen more and more. And it's not just at work, it's just in general with people at the local grocery store, the supermarket, your Costco, your clothing stores, anywhere you go, even your friends and family. Like, I'll have conversations with people and I'll be saying something, and I genuinely feel like people just hear what they want to hear, or like they kind of like fill in like gaps that they miss themselves. So, for example, like, even in this video, I could be speaking for 20 minutes straight. And unless you're literally hyper focused on things that I'm saying and watching me, you'll probably be doing something in the background. Maybe you're washing dishes, or you might have like a quick side conversation with someone. So you might not catch everything I said. And then you come back to the video and then you're like, "Oh, wait, what happened?" So at least you could rewind. But in real life, we can't actually rewind, right? We can't go back and like re understand what we didn't understand to begin with. So in real life, when you're having a conversation, you should actively listen to the words that someone is saying and not try to morph those words into something that you feel like they're trying to say. That's one thing that I feel like we are having an issue with as a society, is that I see this all the time. I watch so many debates, I watch so many podcasts, I watch so many people having conversations, I watch so many videos on YouTube, on TikTok, and all these like videos with where there is just a one-on-one conversation, or with two or more people in a conversation. And a lot of the times what happens is someone could explain themselves really well, but the other person on the opposite side, they might just not, either they don't want to listen and they don't want to understand, and so they find something to like grasp onto. So they like look for keywords or buzzwords that you'll say something and then they'll be like, "Oh, you said this word." And then they'll associate that word with something else they heard, or someone else's opinion using that same word. And so they'll apply all those things from their mind onto you instead of actually listening to what you're saying. I've had countless of moments where I'm speaking to someone and I'm explaining something to them, or I'm having a debate with them or an argument with them. And in that moment, because they heard someone else that may support something that I support say something similar, they'll attribute the other person's opinions to my own, even though I'm not saying any of those opinions. And so it'll turn into this whole thing like, "Oh, this is what you're saying." And it's like, I didn't even say that, buddy. So you need to actually listen to what I'm actually saying and not try to put words in my mouth and not try to put context into my mouth like I'm saying something completely different. Like, no, If we were to just actively listen a little bit more and be a little more careful before we open our mouths in response to someone's words, we would be way better off as a society. I genuinely believe so. And I think that people would fight less. Like, literally, there's so many pointless fights that I see and I hear of, even with my own wife, with my own family. Sometimes just things get misheard and misrepresented most of the time by the other person. And so you fall into this kind of trap where you're not actively listening to the person, and so you're attributing some other opinion to them while they're speaking, and it doesn't help. It doesn't you know give a productive conversation whatsoever. So whenever you're having a conversation next time, try to actually listen to every single word that they say, and don't try to change those words into something else that you may have heard from someone else, or that you think that, oh, well, this person's communicating with me, but what they really mean to say is this. No. Maybe there are people out there that are like that, where they kind of sugarcoat certain things and they don't want you to really feel like they're attacking you, or any of these things. But most of the time, people say what they mean. I mean, I listen. I genuinely believe so. I'm the kind of person that I will say what I mean, and I'm not gonna say something and sugarcoat it and make you feel a certain type of way, because if I have an opinion about something, I'm just gonna share it. And I think if we handled ourselves more like that in life, things would probably be better. So, listen, I do my very best to listen to people when they speak. I try my best to just stay quiet. I remember the first podcast that I ever did, I was a guest on the podcast. It was like an hour and a half long. And once we finished, every single person from the film crew gave me so much props, and they were like, listen, dude, you are a natural in a podcast space, because you actually let the other person like get their full thought out. There was a moment in time during that podcast where the main host of the podcast spoke for probably like 15 minutes straight, and I didn't interrupt them once, because I wanted him to fully get his thoughts and opinions out, and I wanted to genuinely digest and ingest, or however you say. Like, I really wanted to like accept all the words that this person was saying before I gave a proper response. And you kind of want to give respect to the person and let them say what they want to say. And obviously, it's easier said than done. It's hard to just sit there for 15 minutes straight and not respond and not say anything, because sometimes within 1 minute of someone speaking, you have all these rebuttals that you want to say. But before you give any rebuttals to anything, before you want to fight, before you want to get loud, just quiet down, calm down, listen to the words that the person is saying, try to understand them, and from there you move forward. There's no way to move forward with a conversation where you don't even listen to what they're saying and you don't even understand their point. How are you going to respond accordingly if you didn't even properly listen to begin with? You already lost. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.